Question was about the injuries, how do I compete with those, and would I have competed more if I didn't have them? Yeah, it was very difficult. I tore my biceps 6 weeks before '94 Olympia, and I tore my tricep tendon on the same arm. Probably related in some way, because once you have a weak point, an injury, it changes the whole chain of movement and it shifts stress somewhere else. So then you can get another injury. You see that a lot with bodybuilding athletes. Once they get one injury, they tend to get another one. So maybe the question is, how are you able to win, Dorian, with one bicep? Maybe that's the question. So again, logically, how do they judge a bodybuilding contest? They judge it on 4 semi-relaxed poses, front, side, and back. Biceps not visible, so it wouldn't affect those poses. Then you have 7 compulsory poses, starting with a front double bicep. And I always say, okay, so I had a torn bicep. Let's say, in theory, every single person in the contest beats me on that pose. They didn't, but let's just say that they did, right? It wouldn't matter mathematically, because I would still win the majority of the other poses. Nobody could beat me on a front lat spread. Nobody could beat me on a back lat spread. Nobody could beat me on a back double bicep and a side tricep. And probably not on abs and thighs either. So that's why it didn't really matter. And would I have competed more if I didn't have those injuries? I don't know, because to be honest, for the first time ever, getting ready for the Mr. Olympia in 1997, I was starting to feel like, man, this feels like Groundhog Day. Like I'm just doing the same thing again and again, and I'm starting to lose my passion for this. It's starting to be a job, and I never wanted it to be like that. Even though it was a job, even though I was earning some pretty good money doing it, I didn't want to be in that mind frame, which a lot of the other guys were. They might try and say they weren't, but they were, and that's why I beat them. So I don't know. I was getting to the point where I'm like, and I never had in my mind this goal of trying to beat Lee Haney's record, which was 8 Mr. Olympias. Everyone was always asking me about that once I got to number 5 and so on. But it was never a goal of mine. My goal was like, as long as I'm enjoying this, and as long as I feel I can make some improvements, it's possible, then I'll keep doing it.
Yo, what is good, YouTube? I hope you guys enjoyed Dorian Yates talking about how he won the Mr. Olympia with one arm. And this was actually taken from the last Arnold Classic UK. I will link it in the description. I thought this was very interesting to look into, because a lot of people don't agree with a couple of Dorian Yates Olympia wins inside the sport and just fans. I know Sean Ray has went on plenty of rants on how he doesn't understand how Dorian was able to win with a torn bicep and torn tricep. Now, Dorian did make a good point in his interview, saying that the biceps really only matter in 2 poses, being the front double and the back double. And I could arguably say, you know, in the side chest and the most muscular, but not too much. And we all know that even with a torn bicep or tricep, Dorian Yates could definitely still take a back double bicep. So mathematically, Dorian said he would still be able to win the competition. But in '97, I think Dorian had more than just a torn arm. You know, he wasn't in the best condition. Definitely looked a bit watery, midsection a bit distended. But that's a whole different conversation. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. You know, did Dorian make a good point about saying the biceps don't really matter too much as far as all of the poses go? Or do you guys think that some of Dorian's wins were, you know, mostly political? You know, do you guys think Sean Ray really won in 1994? Do you guys think Nasser really won in 1997, but it was still awarded to Dorian Yates? I thought this was an interesting take, and he does make a good point, you know, because it would still be very hard to beat Dorian in a front lat, a back lat, a side tricep, even an ab and thigh. And, you know, the biceps and triceps aren't really too visible, except for the side tricep. And Dorian also talks about if he didn't get injured, would he have continued his career? And he was saying towards the end of his career, it honestly started to feel like a job, so he was probably going to retire anyway. But I honestly think it started feeling like that because Dorian had so many injuries. As you guys know, Dorian Yates was one of the most intense trainers in bodybuilding history, and probably wasn't able to train, you know, at the same level with the injuries, and probably in the back of his head felt like he was going to get injured again. But as always, very interested to hear you guys take. Hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Christian from Go Fitness, and I'm out.